on the old steering wheel. Make sure it's not going to fall. That should be pretty good. Um, so if you guys are watching after the live, just gonna have to probably skip forward a little bit until we get all the good parts, all the fun stuff. We're just gonna wait a little bit, let some people hop on. Um, but let me say this, since it's tradition at this point. So if you don't know, I'm going to tell you there's an incredible pay-per-view on this channel. There's 9 absolutely incredible matches. The pay-per-view is available on this channel, Stone TV, under memberships. If for some reason your phone doesn't have memberships, you can't find the membership option, that means your phone doesn't have the software for the membership, so you're gonna have to use a laptop or a desktop. But I would highly recommend getting the pay-per-view. There's only one place on earth to watch it, and that's Stone TV under memberships. What's up, Josh? It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good tomorrow. If everything goes right, Josh is supposed to come up. We're putting him to work as a cameraman, and if he decides to, work with us again for the same with the same budget, he'll definitely be welcome back. But yeah, man. What time do you think you'll be in Connecticut tomorrow? But it's gonna be good tomorrow. Tomorrow, we gave the heads up. Tomorrow the arm wrestlers are coming over, so we gave the heads up. Be a cameraman, not just any cameraman, that camera guy. But I'm excited. So Jamal asked, "Was that a beer?" It's not a beer. It's an energy drink. A little caffeine. Josh says, "When are y'all getting together?" So we practice. Practice starts at 5. I told people to, if they can, show up a little early. We'll do interviews and stuff like that. I'm also gonna do a recovery lift. Well, it's either gonna be recovery lift. It's probably gonna be recovery lift tomorrow. Today I'm gonna do like a medium heavy wrist flexion. But tomorrow in the morning, I'm gonna do a recovery lift. And then the guys come over around 5. Let's see. Jamal says, "Use have so many brands in America." And he says, "Oh, can I try and guess what state you're from?" Go for it, man. You can guess away. You got a 1 in 50 chance. Day says, "Where you at?" I am sitting. Just went to the grocery store. Now I'm sitting outside the grocery store, and we're gonna do this live. We're gonna drink this pre-workout, and then we're gonna get some lifting in. Let's see. Let's see. Might have missed some comments. Let's see. So, Fluff says, "Have you ever seen Over the Top movie?" Yes, I have. Um, we watch it sometimes at practice. Um, Mike says Oklahoma. Not that. Not Oklahoma. Jamal says I'll start easy. Texas. Not Texas. I'll give you a hint. We got more snow than Texas. Day says hit the gym, little bro. I appreciate that. I needed that today. Otherwise, I probably would have only hit the gym twice. But I appreciate that. Everyone needs a little encouragement once in a while. Josh says East Coast. That's another great hint. Jamal says Pennsylvania. Getting closer. Sometimes I practice in Pennsylvania with some Pennsylvania guys. Mike says Colorado. That's a little further. Jamal says, have you ever watched The Big Bang? The science thing with the way people say the universe started. You're talking about the Big Bang, because I don't think anybody, I don't know if any human has seen that. Maybe you're talking about something different. Jamal, Michigan, no Michigan. The the Oak says Tennessee, no Tennessee, but I know some people from Tennessee. That helps. Jamal says Sheldon Cooper. I don't know who that is. Mike says Arkansas. Nope. Josh says Nick. He's talking about the TV show. Um, the Big Bang must be a TV show. Hopefully, it's a good one. Um, Jesse says California. Nope. Other side of the country. Washington by Mike. Other side. Jamal says, damn, Mike, you stole my answer. Cody says PA. That's two PAs, so I must look like a Pennsylvania guy. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. I think it depends on where you're from. But you guys are getting, I guess some people are getting a little closer, some people are getting further away. But Josh says, guys, ... East Coast, LOL. East Coast, and it's a pretty small state. Not the smallest, but one of the smallest states. Cody says, I'm from Vermont. All right, there's some good arm wrestlers in Vermont. I tell you what, if you're looking for an arm wrestling team, Cody, I know a lot of arm wrestlers in Vermont. I could hook you up with a team if you're interested. Shoot me a message on Facebook, Nic Stone, or Instagram, _TeamStone777. All right, these guys are really trying. They're really guessing. I appreciate the comments. Mike with back-to-back guesses. He says Louisiana and Iowa. I don't think I've ever been to Iowa. I've driven through Louisiana. Boom. The Oak, Connecticut. You got it right. The old Constitution State. Cody says Maine. Nope. And Josh says boom. So we can finally get back to arm wrestling. So we're all figured out. We had fun with the guessing game. We all figured out that I'm in Connecticut, one of the 50 states of the United States. But it's good. It's good. Let's see. Anything interesting happened in the arm wrestling world? So Mike says, give us something else to guess. Let's see. Something arm wrestling. Um, what was my first super match? So I have I think I have 5 super matches. Nope, 4. No, 5. 5. I have 5 super matches. What was my first ever super match? The Oak says, I thought you were saying where we were from. I laugh out loud. I would have guessed Connecticut for you in a heartbeat. Oh, appreciate that. Sorry about the confusion. You must have been confused when I kept on telling you that you're saying you're from this state and I'm saying no. Cecilia says, Hattie Chupin lost. What's your take? I don't think I know what a Hattie Chupin is. Um, maybe I do, but I'm not sure. Josh says, you see Chafee's two-handed work? I don't think I did. Was he recently? Is he working with some of his teammates in Pennsylvania? But is he? I'm assuming from that next comment, Josh said he's looking strong. I'll have to check that out. I'm curious how he does the two-hand stuff. Ryan says, congratulations, you will get great news tomorrow. Um, the Oak says, I was, haha. Oh, Cecilia Ure says, Mr. Olympia, buddy. To be honest, I haven't really followed bodybuilding. Like when I was powerlifting, I wouldn't follow it, but I was around a lot of bodybuilders, so I would, just be involved a lot more. But yeah, I don't really have an opinion. But some of them are definitely impressive how they can build their bodies up. Let's see. Let's see. What else can we talk about arm wrestling related? I'm still trying to still planning out the next event. Nothing nothing locked in. Josh says, "What are you working today, Nick?" So today I'm gonna have I'm gonna have 2 workouts on paper right now. After this live, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of heavy wrist flexion. A whole bunch of different stuff like that. Mostly wrist flexion. Um, the second workout is going to be full body recovery, but the heavy workout is going to be mostly wrist. But it's going to be good. um, yeah, tomorrow's training is going to be recovery lift in the morning and then table time in the evening. But yeah, I'm going to start off today. I'll probably start off with I do a teammate in mine. We made a handle, a special handle. It's a cambered handle. Um, so say this is the dumbbell handle, instead of the weight being in the middle, the weight is welded to the side of the edge. So if you set it right, when you go to do your wrist flexion, because of the weight is not centered, it's in your finger. When you bend, it's actually a bigger rotation, and the weight gets heavier as you bend, because of the camber in the bar. If you put it in the right spot, you can make it easier. But if you put it in the right spot, it makes like an arc. With a normal dumbbell, it's just, you can still do wrist curls, but with this dumbbell, it really, really, I think it carryovers a lot better than just regular dumbbells. Josh says, I'm coming up for the whole day, so I'll be there in the morning sometime. I'll text you updates. All right, perfect. I have a few clients tomorrow, but they're all super early, so I don't think you'll be there super early. So yeah, so we'll be good to get a whole bunch of video and stuff. Let me know also too, Josh, if there's anything you need, like if you need anything from my end to bring to make the video better. If you need any plugs or whatever, charging stuff, what I mean, let me know. Josh says, you're good. I won't bother you when you have clients. Oh, I appreciate that. But I think right now my clients are like 5 and 6, so I'll be done by like 7:15. So I don't think you'll be there that early. But if you are, you're more than welcome to. There's a nice little diner down the street. We can get breakfast or something if you come up super early. But just saw there's just a hearse. There's a hearse over there pulling up. I haven't seen one of those at the grocery store before, so they must be getting some food for the after party, the celebration of life, or maybe. Let's see. So Josh says, I'll come up super early. All that does is beat traffic. Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, because you're coming from New Jersey, so could be traffic. At least in Connecticut, the only town, I don't think you pass it, but if you pass Waterbury, you gotta, that's a tricky spot. I think Waterbury was rated. I don't know if it's true or not. I heard something that was rated like top 10 worst drivers in the country. Waterbury. So keep that in mind if you go through Waterbury. Just protect yourself. Derek says, here comes the Nic Stone. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Josh says it's still 3.5 hours, although, yeah, that's a good hike. That's definitely a good hike. Definitely want to make sure you come up most of the day for that. That's like 7 hours of driving, so we'll get at least 7 hours of film. Josh says, bypassing the city. That's smart. And it's starting. Derek says Nic Stone versus Hermes Gasparini, King of the Ring. Josh says, yeah, left. That could be interesting. But yeah, I'd pull Hermes. I'd pull him left. If the match was offered, I'd probably pull him right. It might definitely be a lot longer shot, but If the match was offered, I'd definitely take that match. What if any events happened this weekend? There had to be a whole bunch. There had to be something going on this weekend. Any super matches this weekend or anything like that? Josh says Hermes is training his left, and Nick, your left is your hammer, correct? Yeah, my left has been pretty good. Um, I haven't been pinned in I think 4 years. I think the last time I was pinned was Marcio Barboza, and I think I was like 2 years in the sport, 1 or 2 years in the sport. That was the last time I've been pinned lefty. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the last time. So it's been at least 3 or 4 years since I've been pinned lefty. Uh, right hand, I think I've been in the last 4 or 5 years. I think I've been pinned 5 or 6 times, maybe. Um, Laurel says hi, Nick. What's up? What's up, Laurel? Thanks for watching. Josh says Jesus, man, and welcomes Laurel into the chat. Perfect time, and things are just getting fun. I mean, they're always fun, but they're getting extra fun now. Let's see. Yeah, there had to be an event going on or something. There had to be super matches. There had to be something. Because I feel like the way the sport's growing right now, there's always something. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. America. I think that's what it was. Steve Fernandez and James Reed ran a tournament. I actually didn't see the outcomes yet. Fitzy had a match with Mike Hawks. Storm had a match with Bill Sinks. Josh asked, "Did you see the matches with Pedro against Joe Gallucci?" That was like a couple weeks ago, right? At AC, Atlantic City. I might have. Was it sit down? Were they doing a sit down, or wasn't that both, or it was a sit down and a stand up competition? But I might have seen that. Why was it a battle? Pedro and Joe, was it an absolute grinder? 2 3 minute match or something? Because knowing those guys, they could definitely pull something like that off. Josh says, "I thought it was AC, question mark. It may have been a combo of both. Yes, battle." Okay. Yeah, I think because I'm friends with I think I'm friends with Pedro and Joe on Facebook, and I think I saw something that they posted. I think I saw something, but I'll have to go check that out. You know, check out the good match. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. So I must be thinking of something different then. Um, okay. So yeah, I could definitely see that. They probably were both there. The post, Josh, is the post I'm talking about. Oh, okay. So maybe I didn't see that one. I must have been thinking of something different from previous. Um, Yeah, Joe and Pedro are both good. I've pulled them both. Um, I think Pedro only pulls one arm, right? Doesn't Pedro only do right, or he only does left or something? Derek says Hermes is training hard. That's good. That's good. Derek says he wants to take out Levon. That's definitely a good goal. I'm sure a few people have that same goal. Josh says they pulled on a Mac table. Stand up. His left is his hammer. All right. Yeah, I would say if it was left, I'd probably give it to Joe. Maybe if it was right, maybe Pedro. But I know Joe's left is real good. But that's interesting. Josh says Pedro got the win. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Good for, good for Pedro. That's a good win. Derek says Nic Stone versus Gennady. Uh, it could happen. It could happen. We're in the same weight class. You never know. What do you guys? The Gennady thing made me think of that Georgia versus the World thing. What's your guys' opinion on the Georgia versus the World promotion? You think it's a good thing? You think it's could be some bad things? You think a little bit of both? Um, 'Cause I think it's good. I mean, I think the more the promotions, the better. The more chances for athletes to get opportunities. Um, Derek says Nic Stone versus Vitaly Letin. That could happen too. Same weight class. Josh says, "What do you think about Sandra's new look?" Josh says, "Def not natty." LOL. I'm not sure. I haven't seen. Um, I haven't seen any new videos of him. I don't think. Um, but you'll be surprised. Sometimes there's people out there um, that are super freaks, superhumans, and you think they're using stuff, but there's superhumans out there. Um, Derek says Nic Stone is not natty. I've been hearing that since I was 14. Since I was a freshman in high school, people have been saying that. So I appreciate that, Derek. That's nice of you. Josh says the Panzer. Scott says hi from New Zealand. What's up, man? What's up from New Zealand? Um, Josh says he's gearing up for Adam Warzinski. Oh, that's a tough match. That's a good match. I'm curious about that match. I'd like to see the American win, but I do think he might be a little bit of an underdog. But I still like to see Adam win that match. Scott says Fresh Meat Arm Wrestling Club from New Zealand, Auckland. All right. Welcome from New Zealand. Derek says Nic Stone is gifting. Appreciate that. Josh says Nic Stone puts in the work. ... Fixed it. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Appreciate that, guys. Appreciate that. All right, it's happening. It's happening. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good day. It's a little rainy here, but a little rain never hurt. Most people. There are people that are allergic to water. The rain might hurt those people, but if not, you'll be all right. Um, so that oh, Josh says, have you thought about gripping up against Shaw? Yeah, I definitely have. I would definitely like to pull Brian Shaw. I just think it's a tricky situation. Like, I don't think the match will happen soon. I think there's a couple reasons. I think Brian is pretty smart. He's got a giant following, social media and stuff. So I feel like there's a couple factors that I don't have for a match. Meaning, like, I feel like I don't have enough of a following for him to risk, possibly losing. You know what I mean? Like when he pulled, like his last opponents, Eddie Hall. Uh, um, Big giant following. Brandon Allen, pretty big following, definitely more than me if I'm not mistaken. But that's what I would think would be the limiting factor is is like something like that. But maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I would definitely take a match with Brian. It'd be very interesting. Scott says the Beast, 160 kg arm wrestling, New Zealand. Definitely, I want to have a match with the Beast. I feel like it'd be a good match. Style wise, could be interesting. Could be interesting. Josh says, but you have something for both. Yeah, definitely true. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that would be my my first thought is that would be the limiting factor is um but yeah, I would definitely Josh says how about we try and reach out tomorrow? Question mark. Yeah, we definitely do that. That's a good idea. Um let's see. I had I don't know if it's the same phone that he has, but when I did the Shaw Classic a year or two ago, the arm wrestling one, I had Brian's number. I don't know if it's a real number or just something he uses for group chats or whatever. But I asked Brian, I texted him if he was interested in sponsoring, being one of the sponsors for the Total Man charity, and he never got back to me. So maybe that number is no good. So maybe we could find an email or use social media or something like that. And Josh says it's not like you are unknown, Nick. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, so maybe I'm wrong about that, but the following thing, the people subscribing and stuff. Josh says probably his social media manager. Okay, yeah, we just gotta figure out who he is. message him up. And then see how it goes. Could be interesting. Let me check the time. So let's see. Now that we got some more people in the chat, I said in the beginning, but you might have missed it. You guys like arm wrestling? There is a incredible pay-per-view on this channel. 9 incredible matches. It's under the YouTube memberships on this channel. I highly recommend. Check out the pay-per-view if you want to have your minds blown. And I'll probably say it I'll probably say it a third time before we hop off, but that's the second time today. I said once in the beginning. It's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Let's see. Josh says, come on, y'all, smash that thumbs up button. I definitely agree with Josh. Hit that thumbs up button. It definitely helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. Oh, what's up, Drew? Long time no see. What's up? Talking about some arm wrestling stuff. Sometimes some other stuff, but we'll try and get back on topic with the arm wrestling stuff. We're doing a pretty good job so far. So Josh says, how did you come up with the golden turtle? So Turtle Man is a nickname for one of our teammates, Danny DeMichael. Unfortunately, about 2 years ago, he passed away due to a drunk driver. So his nickname was Turtle Man. So when we decided to, do the tournament in his honor, I can't remember who, but somehow someone said get a golden turtle, and that was that. We got golden turtles, and now that's something that's, it's probably people. I think people are really liking the golden turtles because it's it's unique and it's fun and a little silly. You know what I mean? Because it's a compared to a trophy. You know what I mean? It's a little silly. But I think people really like them. This year we added the silver and the bronze, and it worked out great. Like the golds are like this big, silvers are this big, and the bronzes are like this big. So it worked out really funny. But yeah, that's how the turtle started. Just worked out. Josh says, oops, hold on. Scott says, Ashley bench press 318 kilograms. She arm wrestling as well. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good bench press. And Ashley sounds like a lady's name, so that's a pretty good bench press. Josh is sorry to hear that. I appreciate that, man. Josh says, can you send me the STL file for the turtle? I could probably figure something out. I'm going to have to talk to one of my teammates that helped me do all the 3D printing, because I am not super familiar with all the tech stuff, but STL file. That's what you're looking for. STL file. I could probably find something, or have them send me over something. Why, you're looking to maybe you got a 3D printer? You're looking to make some or something? That'd be cool. Yeah, the turtles are great, but the only downside is it takes a lot of time to make them. Josh said, "Yep, it's a CAD file that I turn into a G code to print." All right. I'll try to. I'll remind me tomorrow if I forget. But I'll shoot I'll shoot some messages around, see if I can get that file. Scott says she power lifter from New Zealand. The beast trains her. She must. Maybe I've read that wrong, but did you say 318 kilograms? That is. Yep, I scrolled up. 318 kilograms. So what's that like? Is that 700? Is that like 680? What's that in pounds? She benches in a shirt too, right? She's equipped. She has to be equipped, because I tell you what, that was a raw bench. She might have that record in the female category for quite a while. Josh says, LOL. Scott says, yes, correct. That's good. I liked, when I was powerlifting, I liked both. I liked raw, and I liked equipped. I thought equipped lifting was much more of a challenge. I also feel like the natural evolution of a lifter is to start in raw and eventually end up in equipped. But that's my own views. All right. Let's see. So, Josh is going to come up tomorrow. He's going to do some filming. Is there any certain type of content, videos you guys would like to see? Is there any questions you'd like us to answer in a video? Any, certain topics we could talk about tomorrow? We'll probably do a couple lives and stuff. Probably do some interviews for some of our teammates and stuff. Josh says, yeah, drop it in the chat and we will try and accommodate. That would be cool. That would definitely be cool. Yeah, it'll definitely be cool. I didn't see the match yet, but I know what happened. Fitzy versus Mike Hawks. How do you think that match went? You think Fitzy won? You think Mike won? I'm going to say I think Fitzy won. But I'll have to message him. I don't think, usually I go up on Wednesdays, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it this Wednesday. So Josh says these lives are for y'all. So anything you want Nic to show you, this would be the time to do it, y'all. Yeah, definitely. This would be the time to get in any questions or topics you guys want to talk about. But if not, don't worry. I think we'll be able to figure it out. But should be good. Should be good. I'm excited for tomorrow. It will be, it'll be a good experience. Josh says 6 likes. Y'all can do better than that with a little muscle arm. Yeah, I definitely agree. You guys could probably do some more thumbing up. I got a crack in my phone, so I can't see the people or the thumbs. The only thing I can see on the top of the screen is I can see that we're live, and I can see if someone super chatted or not. Otherwise, I can't see the top of the screen. I can't even see how long we've been on. Let's see, might be about 45 minutes. So 420 says, "What's your t-shirt say, bro?" Josh says his Turtle Man t-shirts. Josh is correct. This is the t-shirt from the first year. We still have t-shirts from the second edition, so it looks just like this, but it has a 2 on the side to represent the second annual Turtle Man Classic. 100% of the money from these shirts are given to the Turtle Man charity. They go for $30. So if you would like a shirt, we could ship them. It just if it's shipped, it's $30 plus shipping. The money goes to the Turtle Man charity. You could shoot me if you're interested. Shoot me a message on Facebook, Nic Stone, or Instagram, Team Stone. Hold on, it's _ Team Stone 777. 420 says rate it with a OK symbol. That's what I'm talking about. And he says, do you ship to the UK? I'm sure I could. So I usually just go down to the post office. I am not sure what shipping would cost. Usually for one shirt, if I go down to the post office and ship it, I think it's $9, $8 or $9 for one. I think last time. But yeah, if you're interested, definitely shoot me a message. Facebook, Nic Stone, or Instagram _ Team Stone 777. Send the money over Cash App or something like that. Once I get the money, then I'll go ahead and I'll mail it out. But yeah, that's awesome. $420 says I'd pay more, bro. Oh, that's awesome. You definitely, if you'd like to, any extra money that you pay will be given to the Turtle Man charity. A few people have done that, but the shirts go for $30 plus shipping, and if you want to donate more, that would be awesome. But these green shirts, Turtle Man shirts, 100% given to the Turtle Man charity. Josh says, Nic, USPS has those. If it fixed, it ships for like $5. Yeah, maybe I'll try that out next one. I don't know. Maybe every time I go in there, I ask what the cheapest option is, and that's what they always tell me. Is It's like a little. It's like $2.99 for the box, and then they go by weight and distance or something. But yeah, there's definitely got to be a cheaper way. It's just that's the cheapest I've been able to get one. It's like 8 or 9 for one. Josh says, well, maybe they don't do it anymore. I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah, maybe. Could be. I mean, I would think people probably got crazy with those if it fits at ships. Maybe they got tired of people filling up, those things with lead, making it heavy. But I tell you what, another option too is if you want to save on shipping, come on down to practice tomorrow, Connecticut, 5 p.m. 4 p.m. too, early. We'll probably start early. I'll be starting early, so if anyone's around early, we can definitely start early. Sometimes people show up around 4. But yeah, it's going to be good. Josh, you going to pull tomorrow? You're going to train tomorrow too? I know you got the cameraman job, but I think you'll be able to get, a good workout in too. Let's see. 420 says, how's Big Frank? He is big. He's doing good though. He's big. He's good. He's happy. He had his pepperoni yesterday. If you know, you know. Frank likes his pepperoni. He likes a lot of stuff. He likes pasta, ice cream, cookies. He likes anything that dogs aren't supposed to eat. He likes that stuff, But he's tough, It's gonna take a lot more than a little ice cream to take Frank out. Josh says, "There you go, free shipping if you just come to practice." Definitely true, and you can practice with us. It's a win-win. Ferno says, "How's it going, dog?" I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Drinking some pre-workout with the pre-lift live, talking about arm wrestle and stuff. .420 says, "Hey, top dog Frank." He's definitely up there. He's definitely up there. He's still pretty good, You know he's missing a leg. You probably wouldn't know it. In case Frank's missing his. If he was a human, he'd be missing his foot and ankle. Like he's still got, he's got like 3.5 legs. He can use it on certain surfaces, like on grass. If it's soft, he's got a nub, which is if it's soft, he can walk on it, but he can't really use it on anything hard, like we got hardwood in the house, so he can't really walk with that on the hardwood, but the couch he'll walk on it, use all 4 legs. But he's a 3.5-legged Chihuahua. So he's missing his back leg, so he has a tremendous amount of upper body strength, incredible triceps, incredible pecs, and traps. Don't get me started on Frank's traps. They look like pit bull traps. It's like you take some muscle from a pit bull and you put it on a Chihuahua, and that's how you got Frank. But I got a story about Frank So if you guys don't know him, Chris Lacko, I call him Chris Wacko Lacko. Um, he's deaf, so he's got hearing aids. But at the time, he didn't have his hearing, like he didn't have the implant, so he was all deaf. Um, so we're training in the gym. He asked to use the restroom or something. So I go in and I make sure Frank is put away, so he can't bite him because he likes to bite people. Um, so we go put him in. I go in and put the dog in. I go out into the garage gym. Chris comes out with me into the gym. Now we go in and go out. Frank is on the ground again after we are in the gym again. Chris, I didn't see him go in. He goes in real quick to fill into the kitchen because the kitchen's right there to fill up a water cup. I didn't know he was there, and all of a sudden I hear, "Oh, you got me!" Frank came up behind him, grabbed him on the ankle, and when I came in to see what was going on, Chris was on the counter with his legs up, so Frank couldn't get him. But it reminds me of like those old movies and cartoons when the mouse would come in the house and the housewife would scream and do the same thing, like jump up on the counter, pick her feet up so the mouse couldn't get her. It was just like that. It was so funny. And the funniest thing about it is Chris is he's a super hardcore guy, so he looks like a biker. He's covered in tattoos, scars and stuff. It was so funny. But luckily Chris kept his leg this time, but there was blood drawn. Josh says, so Frank is an arm wrestler. He definitely is. All upper body and no legs. He's all upper body and he's got one leg. That's pretty good, but all upper body, shoulders, triceps, pecs. 420 says, Top G Frank strikes again. Definitely true. A lot of people don't think he bites as much as he does because he looks super cute until he gets angry. But that's his secret weapon. He'll lure you in with his little cuteness, and right when you're about to pet him, he latches on, and that's it. Josh says, so does Bob Brown. Yeah, he's missing a leg, or I think it's knee down or maybe knee up. But yeah, he's doing pretty good. That's not stopping him from doing good in arm wrestling. But yeah, that's interesting. Some people, it's an interesting topic. A lot of people say, like Bob Brown, missing a leg, they think that's a huge advantage because now he is lighter. Because he's missing the leg because he's lighter. You know what I mean? I don't. I disagree with that. I mean, that might be the only advantage to be missing a leg. But I think it's more of a disadvantage than an advantage. I was talking to somebody about this a week or two ago at practice, and I think besides the weight thing, which sometimes that doesn't matter because some organizations will make people weigh in with their prosthetic, so if that's the case, that may even any advantage that he got from missing a leg maybe right out the window. But I think the biggest disadvantage is once he gets in position like that King's move, he can't really transition. You know what I mean? He can't really transition. He's kind of stuck in that position. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you think it's more of an advantage, more of a disadvantage, or it depends on the person? Josh says, blah, 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 hating. He's a beast. He definitely is a beast. Um, Josh says he can't really get his footing. Yes, that. Yeah, that's the thing. He's kind of limited in the angles he can go. But they're working for him. I mean, he took what he had and he's making it work. That's for sure. Um, but I think he would have a smoother time, like with his King's move, going from defense to offense if he had that other leg. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, I don't think I've ever seen him arm wrestle left hand, but I was talking to Chief and he said he's faced him before at Worlds, left hand. I'd be curious to see how his style looks left hand, because he's now driving from his good leg and dropping on the prosthetic leg, versus on the right hand he's driving from the prosthetic leg and dropping on the good leg. So it's interesting. For me, it's very interesting. Very interesting to me. I like to see how the human body will evolve and adapt. It's a very interesting topic for me. Josh says, I got to firsthand see his right arm. That thing only extends so much. LOL. Big bone lock. Tell you what, man. He had to earn that bone block with years and years of, I guess we'll say damage. But I'm a fan of bone blocks. I think if some people think that's cheating, I think that's fair. I think, I mean, pretty much. I mean, you can't. Everything is a bone block. Well, what I mean by that is, no matter what, your bones are being stressed. I mean, even in an open position, that is, you're still relying on the tendons and the bones. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that bone block. I'm a fan of it. I think if you have it, use it. Um, I also think that bone block is more of a disadvantage than an advantage, if that makes sense. Say, for instance, people with those bone blocks don't have as much range of motion in their arm. So that's why, like, they may not be able to get tight. They may not be able to get tight, so they're forced in an open position. Um, you know, but I think, even if it's not an advantage, people can play it right and make it an advantage, or just be so strong that, it's a good move to do. Josh says, I was amazed he couldn't help that. LOL, it's not cheating. Yeah, I don't think it's cheating. I mean, if someone was born with, a solid, like if they were born in this bone with just solid bone, I don't think that would be cheating either. I think that's, just a unique body, but yeah. I mean, personally, I like pulling Kings movers. We had a couple Kings movers. We had, Big Ron. Dave Morocco came last week. He was a pretty interesting Kings mover. And one thing I don't know, I mean, it's just, I know there's only two instances, but Ron, I think he's like in the sport 5 years, 6 years maybe. And his Kings move is completely different. It's similar in the fundamentals, but it's completely different compared to Dave's Kings move. Ron's Kings move is, I would say, more offensive. There's more center pressure, but less stopping power at the pin. versus Morocco's King's move. In center, you don't really feel anything. Like you can come back and control center kind of. But as soon as you start applying offense, the stopping power kicks in. It was pretty impressive, especially trying to finish Dave is extremely tricky. He has a tremendous amount of stopping power, which is very impressive. Josh says that's like saying I won't pull Dan Plexman because all of his bone fusions. Silly thought process. Yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, Dan's a great guy. I've met him a couple times. He came down to the dungeon. I think he's coming from Canada. I think he's from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's a great guy. When I first gripped up with Dan, I could not believe how strong his hand, even though like he's got like just these nubs, like just these first bones, if I'm not mistaken, on all his fingers, and his ability his hand was so strong. Like I thought he was going to break my thumb. Was extremely impressive. Josh says, "Yep, safety manager for his company in Canada." Oh, good. They picked the right guy. He's a good guy. He'll look out for people. Plus, he's good. He's a good guy. Plus, he's a good arm wrestler, so that's a hard combination to beat. Good guy and a good arm wrestler, that's a hard combination to beat. But Dan is one of the athletes I've been thinking about to invite down to the second Dungeon Super Series. So if there's any athletes you'd like to see Dan pull against, let me know. It'd be very interesting. Josh says Dan's awesome. He definitely is. Definitely is. Josh says I want to see him pull Zach Lee again. Okay. I didn't see their first match, but who won? I'd like to hope Dan won. But I'm curious. I know Zach Lee's pretty good. Dan won, says Josh. Nice. Was it a good match, like a 3-2? Was it 3-2 back and forth, or? What's Dan weigh? Like, he's like 160, right? 165, or is he heavier? 178 or 179 or whatever. I'm not super familiar with the weight classes, so I get all the weight classes mixed up. Josh says Winter Blast 2025. It was a burner. All right. Josh says 176, right? Question mark. Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think 176 is probably, he's not a giant guy, but he's got some muscle on him. He's lean, so probably 176. I don't think 98, so probably 176. So let's see. We got some symbols. So X, 3 X's, a no, and a Y. Says he likes arm wrestling. I tell you what, XX no, Y. You picked the right spot. We're talking about arm wrestling stuff, a whole bunch of good stuff. And if you like doing things that are good, like charity, and if you like arm wrestling, or if you just want to see what arm wrestling is, there's a pay-per-view on this channel the money from the pay-per-view is well, YouTube takes a cut. Whatever YouTube doesn't take, the rest is given to the Turtle Man charity. I think YouTube takes 30 to 40%. I think something big like that. But whatever's left is given to the Turtle Man charity. It's on this channel, Stone TV, under memberships. Josh says, yeah, I was reffing that match. Zach was going so hard. He just kept farting in my face. That's rough. But I couldn't move because I was the down ref. That's rough. I tell you what, I probably would have called one of them ghost fouls on the farter. One of those, imaginary elbow fouls. Stop the match. Come back, go get a little fan or something. And then put the fan and blow it away from you next time you come back. But that's rough. That's the downsides of ref. The downsides of reffing no one tells you about. Josh is 30%. Okay, 30%. Not as bad as 40, but still a good chunk. Josh says, I warned him to never do it again, or I'm following him out, LOL. That's good. I'd follow him out. I'd give no warnings, just straight fouls. I'm not a fan of warnings. As you can tell from the Turtle Man rules, there's no warnings, just fouls. And I think under the Turtle Man rules, that would have been a unprofessional foul. Or unsportsman. So let's see, how do you say that? Hamdi says tips and charities. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Larry Bird fan, if anyone speaks that looks like Japanese, could be Chinese, maybe Korean. Anyone speaks any of those three languages, let me know what Larry Bird said. All right. So let's see. Let me check the time. Oh, more people think the energy drink is a beer. Not a beer, it's an energy drink. But there might be that sugar alcohol stuff in it. I don't think so. I'm looking at the label. Some of those energy drinks, they put the sugar alcohol in it. Larry Bird says, it's Japanese. It just says hello. All right, that's nice, yeah. All right. I appreciate those comments. I appreciate them. Yesterday was interesting. One of my teammates, Mike, invited me to play poker with some people, which is Texas Hold'em. Was my first time playing, and it ended up being a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys ever played Texas Hold'em, but it was a lot of fun. It was we played with Mike and his grandmother, and his grandmother was awesome. She was a lot of fun, and she kicked our butts. She had the most. We played I think it was like $1. I think it it was low stakes. So I bought in for $1. I think Mike bought in for $2, and I think Mike's grandma bought in for $1.50. Uh, did pretty good. I bought it for $1, and I won. I came out with $1.50. So we're doing pretty good. I think Mike's grandma, she doubled her money. She bought it for $1.50. Ended up with $3. And I don't think Mike did that good, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Um, I still don't know all the rules, but I relied mostly on luck. Um, let's see. What do we? I can't see the we have for time, like an hour and 10 or something, hour 15. That's probably what the lives probably. I think we started at 8:25. Josh says, "Don't forget to hit that like button." I definitely agree. Hit that thumbs up. I can't see it with my phone is cracked. I can't see I can't see how many thumb ups we got. But I know we got some. Josh says 76 minutes. Okay, that seems about right. You know. Um, Lucky 76. That's one less than 77. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Arm wrestling stuff, powerlifting stuff. So Josh says, "Have you gripped up with Paul Cruz?" I have. Out of every single athlete I have pulled Paul Cruz definitely the most. Um, I must have faced him probably 10 or 12 times, probably, like throughout the you know 5 years I've been in the sport. Um, I practiced with him like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but I haven't. I think style wise, I'm a technique wise, I'm a bad style for Paul, and Paul's a good style for me. Um, because I've never been on the defensive side with Paul. I've always been on the offensive side. In matches. But yeah, he's definitely Paul Cruz is definitely a monster. You know, Paul Cruz used to be like 300 plus pounds until now he's 240. You know, he's 240. When I first saw Paul after he lost weight, people, I was talking to someone. People says, Paul's here. I said, I haven't seen him all day. He goes, what do you mean? He's right there. And I look up and I see someone's back, and I was like, there's no way that's Paul. He dropped like 80 pounds, and he turned around. It was Paul. I couldn't believe it. But I tell you what, he is a big 242. Big hand. He's a big 242. So he will do great at that class. Um, Josh says Paul's a hooker, right? Yeah, he definitely is a hooker. He's definitely, I would say, the classic. Like the let's see, I like the old school classic in our area. Um, I call it a muscle hooker. A muscle hooker. Like I feel like it's hook with power. You know what I mean? Versus like the European hookers are more of a position hooker, if that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely. Paul was one of the athletes I was thinking about to try to get a match for him with somebody at 242. Um, it could be interesting. It could be very interesting. Well, what's up, Dan? Appreciate the comment. Take it easy on that gas station food, because eventually it will catch up to you. Um, well, let's see. Josh says, how about that young kid who was the high five? Anthony, big strong kid. Yeah, I've pulled him before. I definitely pulled him before. He's a strong guy, big frame. He's like 6'5" or something. Yeah, I definitely. He's a good guy. Um, you know what, guys? I'm getting a phone call, so I'm gonna hop off now. I gotta take this phone call. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Just gotta. Oops, I gotta close this phone call. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.